Hey, how's it everyone? I thought I'd give a quick update on the camera build. Plus we're giving the new Godox XT1 wireless microphone system a try. If you haven't seen the unboxing, I'll post a link to it here. Let's start with the pros. First off, I want to say that the build quality of these Sony products are just amazing. Both the lens and camera feel solid. I'm really impressed by the lens. The quality is higher than two of the Canon L lenses that I own. Also, I have to say that even though the A7C is 4 years old, it still looks and feels like a flagship camera. The silver on black is a head turner. The clicks on the body and lens are just so positive. When you're turning the aperture ring, you can feel every detent. Everything is very intentional and provides good feedback. The camera's top dial here has just enough tension that you can really feel it click into the next setting. But then again, it has enough tension that you don't have to worry about it switching positions unintentionally. Even the exposure compensation dial is very positive. You can feel every stop. Now speaking of high quality, I'm really pleased with this newer strap. It's very well made. There's no snags or loose threads. I love the black. It's not a very dark gray or a really dark blue. It's really a deep, rich black. I also love the orange. It's very vibrant without being hyper-saturated or fluorescent like a safety vest orange. For $13, you cannot go wrong. I also love this thoughtful touch. Right here on the end, you can see that there is this extra flap. What you can do is take the OEM camera strap rings and push it through the hole in the flap until it's poking through. Then this metal ring loops through the ring and the strap. The flap then protects the camera's finish, which is a positive, but it also cuts down on the rattling. And Sony's OEM camera strap rings have earned a bad reputation for rattling. In the unboxing, I said that even though the square hood was metal, I thought it was a bit overpriced for $45. What I didn't notice at the time was that the price also included a felt-lined metal hood. So I think there's some value add to that. I don't know, let me know in the comments if you think it's worth $45. On to the cons. There are a few cons that make me wonder if this camera body and lens combo can be my all-around everyday camera. Many reviewers over the years have pointed out how small the EVF is, and it really is tiny. In fact, when I look through the viewfinder, I'm not sure if I could see the settings clearly without my progressive eyeglasses. So that's one thing I have to test further. A compounding factor is the low magnification. I didn't realize that it's only 0.51 times magnification. That's really low. Not only by today's standards, but also 2020 standards when the camera was released. The low magnification rate creates a perceptual problem where something is, say, 4 feet away from you in reality, but the viewfinder makes it appear much farther away. I need to see if I can get used to that. In part 1, I debated which focal length I should use. I chose 24mm because I really enjoyed that focal length while traveling. However, now I'm not sure it's my ideal walking around everyday focal length. I was able to shoot a car show this weekend, and I don't think I did very well with that focal range. I'll go ahead and include some pictures here, and you can let me know what you think. I think I gravitate more towards 50mm for everyday shooting. I happen to have a Sigma MC11 adapter. I updated the firmware and put it on a cheapy Canon Nifty 50 f1.8 lens. You can see it's roughly the same size as the Sony 24mm. I'll have to shoot a bit more with both lenses to see which I like better. I'm thinking perhaps the 40mm G would be a good compromise. A couple of minor things that are not deal breakers. The on-off switch has a very positive engagement to it, but I tend to put my camera's short side down in my bag. I've noticed a few times that when I took the camera out of my bag, the switch was in the on position. Now the camera never fully drained the battery, so I guess it has an auto off or it sleeps, so it's not been a big issue. The other minor issue is that the menu button is in the middle of the camera. As you can see here, I have a hard time engaging it. Being a rangefinder style body, I was hoping I could fully operate the camera with one hand. I'm hoping I can remap one of these buttons to be the menu button instead. I don't do back button focusing, so this will be the most likely candidate for remapping, but we'll have to see if that's possible. There's no better way to put a camera through its paces than playing tacky tourist in Waikiki. As I'm walking up to this lifeguard shack, I already appreciate how light the camera body and lens combination is, and carrying it on a neck strap won't result in a visit to the chiropractor. I'm used to carrying Canon full-frame bodies and big L zoom lenses, so this one-handed approach to photography is refreshing. Honestly though, I'm struggling for compositions with this 24mm lens. I feel like I have to walk up so close to things to fill the frame. Also, the low magnification issue is exacerbating the problem. Things look like they're farther away in the viewfinder than they really are. In this second shot, my subject is the Royal Hawaiian. Usually I change to my 70-200mm f4 lens for reach and compression. Although the 24mm is a great focal length for landscapes, my subject here looks like a speck. By the way, all pics were shot in RAW with very minimal processing, usually just boosting the shadows and or exposure a bit. That is one thing that I like about Sony RAWs. They respond very well to post-processing. Shooting the sculpture with the sun in the background highlights two of the main issues I have with the A7C. The viewfinder and panel brightness are subpar. I have the EVF brightness turned up all the way, and the LCD is on sunny weather mode, and it's barely acceptable. I had a hard time shooting the statue, but did a much better job when the sun went down a bit. Also, perhaps someone can let me know in the comments if live preview works when shooting RAW. I would take a shot, and then when the JPEG was rendered for review, it looked totally different than what I saw through the viewfinder. Oh, and I'm not shooting any picture styles that might cause the difference. Here are a few macro shots, not bitingly sharp, but I found them acceptable. Now here I was setting up this awesome sunstar photo when this dude entered my frame. He stood there for so long I was thinking that he was admiring the statue. However, he was sifting through the lei to see which one he wanted to steal. But anyway, what do you think about the sunstars? I can tell the focusing algorithms are old. It basically focuses on whatever is closest to the camera. Even when I put the center square on the subject, then hit AF on to track, 9 out of 10 times it jumps to something else. For example, in this shot I was trying to get it to focus on the Royal Hawaiian, but the focus kept jumping to the leaves. Anyway, it took me so long to set up this shot that by the time I took the picture, this family happened to get up to leave. Here we are coming up on a banyan tree. I'd never seen one before I moved to Hawaii, and I was totally fascinated by them when I saw my first one. Here we are at the famous Duke Kahanamoku statue. This is the Moana Surfrider Hotel. I love the front porch of this hotel. Let's take a quick walk through the lobby to the back porch. I think this is the most popular beach access way on Instagram. It's funny because you can get onto the beach from anywhere in Waikiki. But on IG, it makes it look like this is the only way people can get on the beach if they're not staying at one of the resorts. Finally, the Royal Hawaiian, so peaceful and beautiful. No other hotel or resort in Waikiki has this sprawling front lawn. I love the lobby. It leads directly to the beach. And this pink columned hallway is my favorite. Tropical flowers were also new to me when I moved to Hawaii. I love them now. They're so unique looking. Sunset in Waikiki. There's nothing more beautiful. Here's another picture where the autofocus had a hard time deciding where to focus. And no photo walk of Waikiki would be complete without a shot of iconic Diamond Head. So after a few weeks of use, is this combo an acceptable Q facsimile? I think there's a few serious flaws that hold it back from reaching that level. As discussed in the video, the viewfinder and LCD are manageable but not ideal, particularly in sunny weather. The focusing algorithms are showing their age. That was perhaps the most frustrating part of the user experience. The back panel supports touch focusing, but not menu navigation. There were times I caught myself touching the screen while trying to make quick changes. The A7C feels a bit dated in some ways, but not in the same trendy, retro way that many Fujis are regarded. However, it's still a fun, compact camera and lens combo to own. It packs the advantages of a full-frame sensor in a package that's small enough to fit in a medium-sized sling, and light enough that you wouldn't mind carrying it along for a day's worth of shooting. The build quality of both the lens and camera is outstanding, with each having the advantage of being weather sealed. While the autofocusing can be frustrating, overall I find the camera easy to operate. For instance, a lot of people don't like the old menu system, but I find it to be pretty intuitive. The rangefinder style body makes it easy to deploy quickly to capture some spontaneous shots. As long as the settings are set to my preferences and I don't have to deploy the LCD screen, I can easily take pictures single-handedly. Finally, I love the way the colors are rendered straight out of the camera, and how well the RAW files respond to post-processing when you want to tweak things. This combo is definitely a keeper. I also plan to supplement it with the adapted Canon 50mm f1.8 lens shown earlier in the video. If you're interested in a similar build but have a different budget, I have a few suggestions. If you want a setup that's cheaper than mine, pair the body with a Tamron, Viltrox, or Samyang prime lens. If you have a budget that's slightly greater than mine, I'd get the newer A7C2. Most of the issues identified above are resolved by the update. For example, it has a slightly larger EVF with greater magnification, it has a more modern focusing system with AI enhancements, and it has full touch operation. If the sky's the limit, then get the A7CR and pair it with the Sony 24-50mm f2.8 lens. With its 61 megapixel sensor and a lens that is essentially several primes bundled together, not to mention the 1.5 crop versions of each focal length, you'd have a true Q killer. In fact, for $3,000 for the body and $1,100 for the lens, you'd still be way under the $6,300 asking price for a new Q3. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this camera and lens combination? If you've watched this video through to the end, thank you, I appreciate it. If you've watched both parts of this two-part series, mahalo nui loa. Please consider dropping a like if you've enjoyed any of this content, and please subscribe for future videos.